Good morning, everybody. It is Salvation Sunday. The sun is out, breeze is blowing. It is going to be a little chillier today. We've been in the 80s for most of the week. Going to go down to the 60s. So just wanted to do a quick video this morning. This weekend really had me a little bit fired up just with all the nonsense going on in the world, not just politically, but just in general. Even here in Tampa, we have what they call Gasparilla, which is a celebration of a fictional pirate. They do an invasion of the city, come in and have a parade and drinking and throwing beads and carrying on. And 500,000 people come in. But what really fired me up, I wasn't as fired up yesterday as I was this morning. They had a news, like a story on the news about cleaning up after the people, and they were like, you know, we've come a long way. It used to be 12 to 18 hours of cleanup. Now it takes about 3 to 4 hours. We have better technique. We have, you know, a couple hundred volunteers. We recycle, and they're like, yay, good for the environment because we're recycling and all that. And I'm like, do you even hear yourselves the nonsense that we celebrate 500,000 people, turn in the city into a crap hole, and then we celebrate that we can clean up after a bunch of drunken nonsense? And we're celebrating that. Wouldn't it just be easier to not pollute in the first place? The problem is, too, Tampa is a blue city. It's a liberal city in a red state, which is a conservative state. So yeah, we have some super nonsense. And so we have the you know, the electric car people, the, you know, save the world, change the climate, but they're the same people that are throwing beads and polluting in the bay and all that nonsense. So we're really struggling with that. And, you know, one of my prayers has been for years, and I've told you guys about this, is in Matthew 24, when Jesus says, because lawlessness increases, the love of many will grow cold. And I've been praying that. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm really learning a lot about the sovereignty of God and how to even interpret Scripture, right? And this is going to be a little interesting. But so when I was praying this morning, I just felt the Lord leading me back to those Scriptures. And in Matthew 24, when he talks about the love of many growing cold, he said the agape, which is the godly love, the love of God. People loving God will grow cold. There's going to be a lot of false teachers. It says that. So lawlessness will increase. So there's going to be a lot of people teaching you to not love God, teaching you to love the world, love church, church over God. Like, you got to be dedicated to this because that's your service to God. And that's not even true. It's obeying the commandments. Loving evil. False teachers. You know, we have many churches now ordaining transgenders and homosexuals. Like, anything that loves those kind of things over God, anything over God, actually. You can love good things. There would be a church that teaches you to love your family over God. And of course, they're not going to come out and say that, but whatever you face as an idol, whatever you keep your gaze on, is where your affection is. And I've really been thinking about that. So I got that this morning. I'm like, wow, wait a minute. You know, the love your enemies, when Jesus preached about that, that was Sermon on the Mount. And what Jesus was teaching on the Sermon on the Mount, while, you know, it would be great if we could do those things, but those things, he took the law, which was impossible to follow, and he took it to the next level to show you even how impossible it was. He's like, even if you did follow that law, still not good enough, right? Because our salvation is from God's grace. We literally cannot earn it. Even if we loved our enemies, let them beat us up and do whatever they wanted to us, and gave all our money away and all that, we still could not earn our salvation. And that's what the Sermon on the Mount is literally talking about. How wicked. It's to point out the wicked nature of man, the fallen nature of man. You know, even if you have a thought about somebody, you've committed adultery in your heart. Well, I think everybody has done that, even as a young kid, you know, oh, Scott Baio, ooh, or Farrah Fawcett, or whatever, right? Oh, you're an adulterer, you're a fornicator, because you've thought about that in your heart. So, you know, to love your enemies, God is putting an impossible task out before you. Now, am I saying to hate our enemies? Of course not. But I this morning, I'm really thinking that I think I'm setting myself up for failure to think that I'm going to be okay with child trafficking, molesting idiots and people who hate God. Why on earth, if God lives in me and they hate him, how on earth am I supposed to be like, oh, I love them and everything is fine? And I think that's nonsense. Now, should I try? Of course, but the Lord also says this. He says that you, by loving them, like we're going to give them the gospel. But he says if you go into a town and they do not receive you, he says dust the sand or the dirt off your sandals. Sorry, I'm having a Joe Biden moment. As a sign of judgment to them. You know, there's going to be a time clearly when people are separated. Everything is separated. God's people and people of the enemy. I mean, it's going to be very clear. In Revelation, it talks about the devil's army surrounding God's people. So there's going to be a separation, and even that's going to be people, you know, you wouldn't expect on certain sides. But you know, the expectations that we put on ourselves sometimes lead us to disappointment. You know, I'm like, oh God, I gotta do better. And as soon as I say that, I get some knucklehead coming into my work saying that I'm stupid and incompetent yesterday. And I was thinking to myself, like, bro, I'll show you incompetent here in a minute. You knucklehead pirate, dressing up fool, drunken sailor, idiot guy. You like that? You know, and that's you know, I'm just being real, you know, that's what comes to my mind. I'm like, man, Lord, I'm falling short. Well, of course I'm going to fall short, because it's not by my works, it's by the grace of God that I can even deal with that kind of stuff. And then later he came in the office and I was like, man, hey, I'm sorry for that mistake that someone else made, and you know, I'm going to make it right. And he said, yeah, you know, thank you, I'm sorry, and blah 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 blah. So, you know, the love of God did win out, because I didn't say what I meant to him, what I felt, nor did I get up and knock him out. You know, I think that's where we need to be. You know, it says as wise as serpent and as gentle as dove. So there is wisdom in not connecting with evil people, not, you know, giving them everything and allowing evil to happen. And in the same token, not repaying evil with evil. So don't let your love for God grow cold. Do what you can for other people. But if it's a losing proposition, let it go. Walk away. It's time to shake the dust off your sandals and walk away. Because it's God that deals with them anyhow. Whether it's good or bad, it's the work of the Lord that is going to change their heart. So that's where I'm at. I'm just praying now. My wisdom is, Lord, don't let my love for you grow cold, but also give me wisdom when to shake the dust off my sandals. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. It's Sunday morning. Hopefully that speaks to someone other than myself. And enjoy your day. If you watch football, go Ravens, go Lions. See how it goes. All right, guys, be blessed. And again, pray for wisdom. Don't let your love for God grow cold.